You're staring at something you need to do, and your mind is already somewhere else. Not because you don't care, not because you're lazy, but because focusing feels like pushing a boulder uphill. And the moment you stop pushing, everything rolls back down. You sit, you open the document, you tell yourself, okay, now. And for a few minutes, it works. But then a thought pulls you sideways. A notification, a memory, a question that has nothing to do with what's in front of you. And suddenly, you're not there anymore. You come back, you refocus, you try again. But it's tiring. It feels like you're fighting yourself just to stay present. And the worst part? You don't even know why it's this hard. It's not always like this. There are days when focus just happens, when you sit down and everything flows. But those days feel random, like luck. And the other days, the ones where you have to force it, those feel like the norm. So you start wondering if something's wrong with you, if other people don't struggle this much, if focus is supposed to feel this heavy. And maybe that's the real exhaustion. Not the work itself, but the constant effort to stay locked in. This is common, more common than most people admit. Adults sit in front of tasks every single day and feel their attention scatter before they've even started. It's not a matter of intelligence or discipline. It's just how the mind works when it's overstimulated, underrested, or stuck in a rhythm that doesn't match the task. People wake up, check their phones, answer messages, scroll through updates, and by the time they sit down to focus on something meaningful, their brain has already been in 10 different directions. The muscle of attention has been flexed in short bursts, rapid shifts, shallow dives. So when it's time to go deep, the mind doesn't know how to stay. And then there's the guilt. The feeling that you should be able to just decide to focus and make it happen. That if you cared enough, it wouldn't be this hard. But caring has nothing to do with it. You can care deeply about something and still find your mind drifting 5 minutes in. Because focus isn't about intention. It's about conditions. It's about rhythm. It's about whether your nervous system is calm enough to let you settle. Most people are trying to focus in a state that doesn't support it. They're anxious, distracted, caffeinated, sleep-deprived, or mentally cluttered. And then they blame themselves for not being able to concentrate. But you can't force a tired mind to be sharp. You can't demand clarity from a system that's running on fumes. So the issue isn't willpower. It's that we've been taught to treat focus like a switch we can flip, when really it's more like a garden. You don't force a plant to grow. You create the conditions. And then it happens. I used to think I had a focus problem. I'd sit down to work and within minutes, I'd be thinking about something else. I'd pull myself back, annoyed, frustrated, convinced I just needed to try harder. And for a while, that worked. I could white-knuckle my way through tasks. But it was exhausting, and it never lasted. What I didn't realize was that I was trying to focus in a way that worked against how my brain actually functions. I was treating attention like something I could control directly, when really it's something that emerges when the right conditions are in place. So I stopped trying to force it, and I started paying attention to what made focus easier. Not what I thought should work, not what worked for other people, but what actually worked for me. And the first thing I noticed, focus wasn't about effort, it was about elimination. Every time I sat down to work, my environment was feeding me options. My phone was next to me. Tabs were open, music was playing, but it had lyrics. The room was bright or too dim, or there was a hum I didn't consciously notice but that my brain was tracking anyway. I wasn't choosing to be distracted. I was just in a space designed to pull my attention in multiple directions. So I started removing things, one at a time. Not because I was trying to be minimal or disciplined, just because I wanted to see what happened. And what happened was, my mind stopped searching. It didn't have anywhere else to go, so it stayed. That's when I realized, focus isn't about forcing your brain to ignore distractions. It's about not giving it distractions in the first place. The second thing I learned was that focus has a rhythm. It doesn't stay constant. It moves in waves. And when I tried to hold it at the same intensity for long stretches, I burned out fast. But when I let it rise and fall naturally, it lasted longer. I stopped setting timers for how long I'd work. I stopped measuring productivity in hours. Instead, I just worked until my attention started to drift. And when it did, I let it. I'd stand up, walk around, look out the window, not scroll, not switch tasks, just let my mind rest. And then, when I came back, the focus came back too. It wasn't about discipline. It was about listening. And the third thing, the one that changed everything, was realizing that focus doesn't come from trying to concentrate. It comes from being interested. When I was genuinely curious about what I was doing, focus wasn't a problem. It just happened. But when I was doing something because I felt I should, or because it was on the list, or because I was behind, my brain resisted. Not out of laziness, out of misalignment. So I started asking, what part of this actually interests me? Even in boring tasks, there's usually something. A small challenge, a question, a result I want to see. And when I found that thread, I could pull it. And the rest followed. Focus isn't about forcing yourself to care. It's about finding the part you already care about and letting that pull you in. Here's what that looks like in real life. You sit down to work. Your phone is in another room. You've closed the tabs you don't need. The space around you is quiet, or the sound is neutral, something that doesn't ask for your attention. You take a breath, not to calm yourself, just to mark the transition from whatever you were doing to this. You start, and within a few minutes your mind wanders. That's normal. You don't fight it. You just notice, and you bring your attention back, not with frustration, just gently, like you're guiding it, not dragging it. You work for a while, maybe 20 minutes, maybe 40, and then you feel the pull to check something, to stand up, to shift, and instead of resisting it, you let it happen. You step away. You don't scroll. You don't start something else. You just pause. You let your brain breathe. And when you come back, you start again. Same process. Same gentleness. No pressure to stay locked in for hours. Just presence. For as long as it lasts. Over time, that presence gets longer. Not because you're forcing it, but because your brain starts to trust the rhythm. It knows it won't be trapped. It knows it can rest. So it stops resisting. This is how focus builds. Not through willpower. Through repetition of the right conditions. You start to notice what helps. Maybe it's working in the morning, when your mind is still quiet. Maybe it's working after a walk, when your body has moved and your thoughts have settled. Maybe it's working in short bursts, with breaks in between. Maybe it's working on one thing at a time, fully, instead of splitting your attention across 3. You stop comparing yourself to people who can work for 6 hours straight. You stop trying to be someone you're not. You just find your rhythm, and you protect it. Because focus isn't about becoming a different person. It's about working with the person you already are. And the more you do that, the easier it gets. Not because the work changes, but because you stop fighting yourself to do it. I know what it's like to feel like you're the only one struggling with this. To watch other people seem so locked in, so consistent, and wonder what's wrong with you. But most of those people aren't superhuman. They're just working in a way that fits them. And you can do that too. You don't need a new system. You don't need a productivity app or a morning routine that starts at 5 a.m. You just need to stop forcing and start noticing. Notice what pulls your attention. Notice what helps you settle. Notice when focus comes easy and when it doesn't. And instead of judging it, just use it. Build around it. Let it guide you. This is what I try to do here. Not give you a formula. Not tell you what works for everyone. But help you see what might work for you. Because clarity isn't about having all the answers. It's about knowing what questions to ask. And if that's something you want more of, if you want a space where you can come back and think through these things without pressure, without hype, without someone telling you to hustle harder, then stay. Come back when you need it. This isn't going anywhere, and neither is the process. You're not behind, you're not broken, you're just learning how to work with yourself instead of against yourself. And that takes time, but it's worth it. Because once you stop forcing focus, it starts to come naturally. Not all at once, not perfectly, but enough. Enough to make progress, enough to feel present, enough to stop feeling like you're constantly fighting just to stay here. And maybe that's all you need. Not more discipline, not more effort, just less resistance. You'll sit down again tomorrow, or later today, or whenever the next thing asks for your attention. And maybe this time, you won't try so hard. You'll just start. You'll notice when your mind wanders. You'll bring it back. You'll work for a bit. You'll rest. You'll come back. And over time, that becomes the rhythm. Not forced, not perfect. Just steady. And steady is enough. You don't have to figure it all out today. You don't have to become someone who never gets distracted. You just have to keep showing up. Keep noticing. Keep adjusting. Because focus isn't something you achieve once and keep forever. It's something you practice. Something you return to. Something you build, slowly, in the spaces between effort and ease. And the more you practice it, the more it starts to feel like home. So take your time, let your mind settle, and when you're ready, just begin. The work will wait. The focus will come. And you'll be there when it does.